they agreed to remove it. So we, of course, monitoring the credit bureau, making sure, waiting for it to come through, and then it took another about 3 weeks to for that to actually show up on your credit bureau or to have it removed from the credit bureau in itself. So this person's credit score went up. It went up after this happened about 22 points. So we started at 505. Now we're at a 527. We still got a long way to go. We got 73 points to try to gain to get to the 600 score so we could go ahead and apply for that mortgage to get into that home. So we're looking at trying to reach that goal of 600. This client also has three collections. Three collections, one of them was medical, and then two other collections on their credit report. So what we did was what? We disputed two of them and we paid one of them. So we paid the medical collection using my strategy. So if you don't know my strategy when it comes to collections, medical or otherwise, go back and listen to that show. I did an entire show about collections. It is entitled Collections, How to Handle Them. So go back and listen to that show. Of course, you can get the show on iTunes, on Stitcher now, as well as Google Play. SoundCloud is going to get it together sooner or later, and you can also get the show on YouTube. You can't see me, but you can get the score on YouTube, and of course, right here at Spreaker.com. And if you go to Spreaker.com, I need you to follow me there. Follow me on Spreaker.com. Follow me there. I'm looking to try to increase my followers. You follow me on Spreaker.com. Every time a show airs, you're going to get an alert. So, of course, the show comes on at 1:30 on Saturdays, 1:30 Central Standard Time. You're going to get an alert to know that the show is coming on, so you never have to miss not 1 minute of the 800 Credit Score Man show. So do that for me. All right, so go back and listen to collections if you want to know the strategy. So we used the strategy that I talked about on that show, and we paid the medical. So when we paid the medical, let me tell you how the medical works now in the new model. So medical collections work like this. The credit bureaus and the government have come together to say, no, medical collections does not really affect or tell us how a person can or will pay their other bills. A medical is something like an emergency. Something came up, and so that's not indicative of how well they pay their credit cards and their car notes and their their mortgages. So what they decided to do is, once your medical bill is paid, once you've paid your medical collection, then it's no longer going to affect your credit score at all. So it won't be a negative for you at all. Doesn't mean it's going to come off. So it doesn't come off of your credit report, but it's not going to negatively affect your score once you have paid that medical collection. So it's going to say paid or zero balance on your credit bureau. So if you've paid one and it's not showing as a zero balance, make sure you contact them to let them know that it needs to be made a zero balance on your credit report, because it's no longer going to negatively affect your credit score. So all right, so we paid the medical. Was able to pay the medical, and that was all good and fine. So it's not going to affect us negatively anymore. And then one dispute was actually removed because it wasn't the clients or the collection agency couldn't verify the actual debt. That takes 30 to 40 days. They actually get 30 days to go ahead and review and get back to the credit bureau. So that was taken into account, and one of them was removed, and then the other one we negotiated. So we negotiated the debt. I don't remember what the debt was, how much it was. So we negotiated that debt, and we received about 40% off the amount, paid that amount, and prior to paying that, we asked for removal of the debt from your credit bureau as well. That was granted. So then all of those things were taken care of on this particular client's credit bureau. So doing that, we started at a 505. It took the bureaus plenty of time, and too much time in my estimate, and I'm sure in most of your estimations it took too much time, but it was removed from the credit report. It did update, and so this client went from starting at a 505 to a score of a 585. And I lost track of the time as far as how long it took them. The first time it took like 4 or 5 weeks to get a couple of those things done. So we're probably about 3-4 months in, and this person has gone from the 505 to a 585. So we're close. We're close to getting to that 600, but not quite. And we've done some work, and we're still moving, and it could shoot up any day now. So there's no rhyme or reason to it, at least in our estimation, on why those things happen and when they happen. But eventually, if you do the right things and you manipulate the things that you can, then your credit score will go up. So let me finish out with this person so I can get to the question of the day as well. All right, so then after that, we looked at this person's credit card debt and their debt utilization. Their debt utilization was at about 65%. If you're not familiar with that, I'm positive you can find one of my shows that talks about debt utilization. One of them, I think I spent the entire show talking about debt utilization. Go back and find that show on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you can find it, and listen to the one about debt utilization as well as debt reduction, telling you how to get rid of some debt. All right, so this person was at about 65%. So we used some of those strategies. We did a couple of things. The first thing we did was to ask for additional limits. So we asked for them to increase the limit on one of the credit cards, and increasing that limit with no intention on using that increase. Increasing that limit helped lower the debt utilization without spending an additional dime. So that increase brought it down from 65% debt utilization. We want to get to or under 30%. It brought it down from 65 to 52%. This particular client got a bonus and was able to pay some money on those credit cards, and then it moved that debt utilization down to 25%, under the 30% where we were looking at. Within a couple of months after that, everything hit the credit bureau. We started at 505. Now this client's credit score was at 627. So this client score had went from 505 to 627 in, half a year or so. And what did we say that they wanted to do? Their goal was to buy a home. We talked about them being able to get to a 580 or 600 at least to even qualify for a loan. And this person exceeded that and was able to go ahead and get in that home. They went from bad credit to on their way to being to fair credit and on their way. So this particular client did an excellent job following all of those things and getting their credit score to increase. So, how long or how soon can I buy a home? This person was able to do it in about 6 or 7 months. She was approved for her mortgage application, and she found a home within a couple of months and moved in, and life is happily ever after. All right, so that's that client right there. I hope you follow all of those things. I hope you see the process and how it kind of goes and what could happen for you. Not all the results are the same. Not every credit bureau is the same. This is truly personal finance, and it's personal and independent and individual to you yourself. So not everybody's going to fall in the same category. Not everybody's going to follow all the steps, because everybody can't do the same thing that this particular client did. And so that doesn't mean you're going to get the same results. But if you contact a professional, someone like myself, I'll be able to help you navigate those waters. 800-creditscoreman@gmail.com. Hit me there. All right. So let's get to the question of the day. It is well past. The show's almost over, and we're just getting the question of the day. Excuse me. So let's talk about Janine. Janine from Indiana. Janine asks, what hurts my credit score worse, collection or a late payment? So let me talk about. Well, like I just said, everything's individual. So are you talking about a single collection? And you said late payments. So you're talking about collectively, a bunch of late payments, one late payment, or collection. Let me tell you this. With you having one single late payment, just like the client I just briefly talked about, you may be able to get that removed from your credit report, and it will have no effect on your credit score. If that late payment is, let's say it's 3 years old, it's still showing on your credit report, because now they've been placing month-to-month calculations on your credit report is still showing there, and it's 3 years old, it's probably not affecting you hardly at all anymore. The further you get from that particular late payment, the less impact it has on your score. So I would say that the collection, no matter if the collection is $2 or if the collection is $1,200 or $12,000, the collection is going to be the one that hurts your credit score the most. That late payment, 2-3 years ago, it may have dropped your score 30, 40 points back then, but you have since recovered most likely from that late payment. The collection, and depending on how new it is, that collection is probably going to hurt your score more than anything else. Of course, you can have things done to have that collection come off. Again, go back and listen to that show, Collections, How to Handle, and you will come up with a strategy, I'm sure, to go ahead and get rid of those collections and help yourself out. All right, so look, Janine, thank you very much from Indiana. Thank you very much for joining the 800 Credit Score Man Show. You are officially part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. And thank you again for your question. I'm sure you helped out a lot of people. Okay, so look, I have really blown through, only two of the things. I've got another topic that keeps coming up that I want to address, but I've got some other things I got to tell you first. I want to let you know that I'm going to be doing a financial wellness seminar sponsored by Living Purpose Church out of Aurora, Illinois. So it's a financial wellness seminar. I'll be joined by, I mentioned Barry Johnson. I'll be joined by him. He'll be talking about mortgages. And then I'm also going to be joined by LaTarsha Bailey, and she'll be telling you all about your budget and how to get those things done. And what else am I going to be talking about but credit? So I'm talking on better living and better credit, or my title, something like that. So financial wellness is going to be on March the 11th from 10 to 1 o'clock in Aurora, Illinois at the Eola Center. It's a community center there, 555 South Eola Road in Aurora, Illinois. Again, 555 South Eola Road in Aurora, Illinois at the Eola Center, a financial wellness seminar from 10 to 1 on that Saturday, March the 11th. Make sure you get by there. Myself, Kevin, the 800 Credit Score Man, Barry, the Lone Ranger Johnson, and LaTarsha, the Budget Lady Bailey. We're going to be in there talking to you guys. And so since I'm on Bailey's, I want to give a birthday shout out to Tyron Bailey. He had a birthday, so I want to give him a shout out to Tyron. Tyron is a good football player. He's headed to college to play football, so congratulations to you and happy birthday to you as well. I want to give another shout out, happy birthday, and I think his birthday is actually tomorrow, and that's Trent A. McCain, attorney at law, based out of Maryville, Indiana. So I want to give a shout out to Trent A. McCain, attorney at law. I've known this man my entire life, it seems like. We went to church together when we were little kids. So happy birthday to you, Trent McCain. All right, so we are really coming down to the end of the show. I'm not going to be able to get into this last one in the detail that I wanted to. The first thing I talked to you about was how long will it take me to, quote unquote, fix my credit. You guys know that it's restored, right? All right. And then secondly, I talked about and gave you some serious detail about a client that wanted to buy a home, started at a 550. Started at a 505 credit score, and the credit score was raised to 625. The things we went through and the steps to help that person get there, and then how long it took us to get there. So I think it was around 6 or 7 months, right? All right, so we talked about those things. Last thing that I really want to talk to you about that we don't have time for today is inquiries. Stop applying for stuff, y'all. Stop applying for everything. I've had too many people come to me recently that have 15, 20, 28 different inquiries. Let me tell you this. If you go somewhere and they turn you down, maybe you go to a different place to see if you can get approved there. But going from place to place to place does not improve your chances of being approved for whatever it is you're trying to get. I don't care if it's furniture or if it's a vehicle or what have you. You'll be better off by when you walk in a place, say, hey, this is my credit score. I do need credit to get this item. and this is my credit score. What do you think my chances are getting